Oh, all right. Top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the night, whatever time zone you are on. We are live. Hello, everybody. A moment of silence for all those who have lost their lives. And let's remember, we can look up, we can get up, we can get up, we can go up. This is no nonsense news. Let's give us some music and let's get off into this. Let's go. Hopefully, everybody's been doing the best that they can in the situation they're in. Because this is no nonsense news, remember, we are still in a pandemic, so it is advantageous for you to wear your mask, wear gloves, and continually wash your hands. Now, with that being said, hello, everybody, to onlookers, bypassers, people in the bushes, supporters, and the like. Let's go.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complications. You cannot slip. Just move on up. For peace you'll find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you. Remember your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing. Take nothing less than the supreme best. Do not obey rumors people say, but you can pass the test. Just move on up to a greater day. With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it. Just move on up. Move on up. We move on up. Watch out, but just move on up.
Hey.
We move on up. Move on up.
Lee, you said what I know about Curtis? Everything, everything, Letha, everything. I know everything about Curtis Mayfield. Remember, my father was older than you and he was a DJ. Know everything about Curtis Mayfield. Hello, Mac, Letha, rest of the people in the bushes. Y'all ready for no nonsense news tonight? No nonsense news tonight. Let me go to my board, shimmer board really quick and pull this up because let's get this foolishness out of the way. Any preconceived notions in people's minds. Let's just get that right on out of the way. Let's get it out of here. All right. Give me some text. Out. Okay, we ready for this? This is the way we got to start off tonight. No nonsense news. Make it flow. Let me take my cap locks off. So on the nonsense news tonight, there has been only 12 days during 2020 where the police / cops have not killed anyone. Only 12 days so far out of this year, the police did not kill people. That means humans. I'll say it again, there has only been 12 days this year, 2020, where the cops did not kill people. That means the rest of the days within this year, humans have died by being killed by police. So, hey Jen, how are you? So knowing that, somebody make that make sense, but you can't pick sense or make sense out of nonsense, right? It's been only 12 days during this year, 2020, that police didn't kill anyone. Yeah. Let me say it again. Only 12 days this year, police didn't kill people out of this year, 2020. Only 12. That means rest of the days, people were killed by cops. Now, let's go. Hey, some people are saying that's sad, that's a shame. Um, again, Lee, Mac, Jen, hello. I'll say it again, only 12 days this year. It's only been 12 days out of this year. People were not killed by cops. 12. And so while I see people saying it's sad, it's nonsense, Mac. That's what it is. Straight nonsense, foolishness. And people wonder why the police need to be defunded. To defund the police does not mean that you dissolve the police. It means you reallocate funds. You redirect funds. Again, I'll say it for the people who missed it. It's only been 12 days this year that police didn't kill nobody. Oh, I know. This is no nonsense news. So let's get off into this. Let's get off into this. Parental consent. Graphic content. Parental consent means if you are a minor, 18 and under, get your parent. Graphic means very vivid. Maybe very horrific. With that being said, let's go. Disclaimer. In accordance to the Copyright Act of the United States of America, sections 106, 106A, 107, and the others, fair use. Lies will be told. Parental advisory and consent is needed. Lawless, ruthless, scandalous equals Trump.
I was complicit in helping conceal the real Donald Trump. The president is going to talk to you about law and order. That's laughable. Virtually everyone who worked for his campaign has been convicted of a crime or is under indictment, myself included. So when the president gets in front of the cameras this week, remember that he thinks we're all gullible, a bunch of fools. I was a part of it, and I fell for it. You don't have to like me, but please, listen to me. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat. He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair and to lie about it to his wife, which I did.
Okay, so Butchie Boy asks, does that defunding the police mean they won't be able to get bullets? Sure, they're going to get bullets. Remember, the United States is still at war with drugs. Remember the war on drugs, Richard Nixon? From the 60s, they still at a war on drugs. They still in war. They still at a war with drugs. So they always going to get bullets. Drugs have not been captured yet. That war has not been won. They are still fighting that psychological war that they created. All right. So Again, lawless, ruthless, scandalous, treason, and the like. Now, if you've been reading through the investigative report from the Senate, the fifth one, as it relates to Russia, you will see it within the 1,000 pages. It is there. Everything that Michael Cohen just said, it is there. But this is no nonsense news, and there are people who will still vote for him, as it is their right, or they're well within their rights to do so. I just won't be one of them. Now, let's move on. I won't be voting for the PP president. It is what it is. Let's go. All right. Police. No nonsense. You done slid up in Michigan. I need police, these police pedophiles, leave these kids alone. Because that's nasty and disgusting.
News 4 Jack starts right now with a breaking news alert.
We are following breaking news. This Jacksonville police officer arrested on child sex charges in a case from Michigan. Officer David Geddard has been fired from the sheriff's office.
He was with the department for just under 2 years. News 4 Jack's reporter Jim Piggott has the breaking details and joins us live. Jim.
You know, Mary, I've been reaching out, trying to find out more about David Geddard. He is now ex-officer here at JSO. Because he was on probation, he was fired. There were 2 counts of criminal conduct with a child under 13. That was a warrant that was issued out of the police department from Kalamazoo, Michigan. What had happened there, still the details, we really aren't sure at this point, but we know it was from an event that had happened 6 years ago, prior to the time he was here with JSO. As we had mentioned, he trained here as an officer. Starting 20 months ago, he was on patrol here in Duval County with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and in the patrol division. And I do want to point out, it was about October of 2019. Actually, Geddard was considered a hero after he pulled a woman from a retention pond in an accident that had happened on 295. FHP had answered to that, and he pulled the woman out of the car, and at that point was considered a hero. But now Geddard is going to be extradited back to Michigan, where he faces those charges, 2 counts of criminal conduct with a child under 13. Details, again, we're not exactly sure of what happened at that point. We're live from JSO downtown. Jim Piggott, Channel 4.
Okay, since this is no nonsense news, we're not going to pontificate, play a game, and sugarcoat it. He was involved in illicit sexual relations with minors under the age of 13. Now they bringing your behind back to Michigan. Simple. All right. You on your way back. I'm going to need these pedophile officers to stop. Police departments. I'm going to need y'all to take some funds away for that too. I'm going to need you all to reallocate your funds to doing a thorough background check on these police officers. Because apparently you're not.
All right, now to the story people are still having trouble wrapping their heads around. New information coming to light about what happened to Tamisha Beauchamp.
Southfield woman was thought by paramedics to be dead, brought to a funeral home. It turned out she was alive. Local 4 defender Sean Lay has more on what he's learned in a bizarre case. Sean.
We continue to collect information on Tamisha Beauchamp to try to put these pieces together, Devin. Here's the deal, that she had been living with cerebral palsy her entire life, needing 3 breathing treatments a day. Sunday morning, her mom noticed that Tamisha was having such difficulty breathing. Southfield EMS, they were called, and they said they had no signs of life on Tamisha. But Tamisha is behind me here at Sinai Grace, still clinging to life.
Somebody pronounced my child dead, and she's not even dead.
That's the voice of mom Erica Lattimore telling the local 4 defenders how medics with Southfield Fire told her Sunday morning that her daughter Tamisha, a 20-year-old living with cerebral palsy, was dead, only to have Cole Funeral Home find Tamisha very much alive in a body bag hours later.
Your daughter is breathing. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean she's breathing?
Lattimore has hired attorney Jeffrey Feiger to push for answers.
Maybe was ill to the point where she needed medical treatment, needed transportation to a hospital, but not transportation to a funeral home.
Southfield Fire now with an internal investigation along with the Oakland County Medical Control Authority into why medics found no signs of life when Tamisha was indeed alive. Sources telling the local 4 defenders under scrutiny right now, did those medics do exactly what they say they did? Did the heart monitor used have a catastrophic failure? Feiger says Tamisha's godmother, a nurse, alerted the medics and police that she could see Tamisha breathing.
She told the paramedics, and the paramedics told her that the movements were involuntary and that were the results of the medication.
So again, continuing to try to piece together what went wrong here, what's going right. Tamisha, again, she's still alive, but in critical condition right now. Her mother says Tamisha needs prayers. Her family needs prayers right now. Live on the West Side, Sean Lay, Local 4 Defenders.
Okay, so on now nonsense news, because this is Michigan. He's being extradited back to Michigan for sleeping with minors, the police officer. And on the other side, in Michigan, you see Jeffrey Feiger. Those of us who are familiar with Kanika Jenkins, we know Jeffrey Feiger is one of the team of attorneys that's on that case. Well, Jeffrey Feiger is on a host of cases in his own state, Michigan. And this is one of them. Unfortunately, they sent her directly to the funeral home and ruled the 20-year-old lady with cerebral palsy as dead, and she was still breathing. Now, she was told, they were told, paramedics, fire department, they were told she was still breathing by the godmother and other family members. They took her there anyway. They had her in a body bag and everything. She is still alive. No nonsense news. I don't need people to get it together because I cannot make sense out of nonsense. It's just not possible. We don't do foolishness. All right. Now we ready for it? Let's get to it. My. Okay, Butcher Boy, you said half of these people getting shot with these bullets are not doing drug. No, they're not drug dealers. Many of them never have been drug dealers, never will be. But this is what we're getting ready to get into. Mac, you're right. They're not gonna roll up on no real street guys and just do what they've been doing. Jake Blake, for people out there with fake, false information, spewing lies, he didn't have a knife in his hand. See, because I've been hearing people say he had a knife in his hand. Don't confuse the two stories. The gentleman who was killed in Lafayette, Louisiana, allegedly had a knife in his hand. I'm still waiting for more video footage from that. Jake Blake did not have a knife in his hand. So I need those people who have been telling those falsehoods to stop lying, because you a lie. Anyway.
Another night of unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where protests continue after a police officer shot a man multiple times in the back. The incident was captured by a cell phone. Now, as Megan Alexander reports, the man's family says he is paralyzed.
Chaos on the streets again. The National Guard was called in as fires raged in Kenosha. The protest started out peacefully, but trouble erupted in Kenosha after cops tried to enforce an 8 p.m. curfew. Ear-splitting noise was played to break up the gathering. A mattress store was looted and torched. This ATM was ripped off the wall. WDJT TV reporter Pari Cruz.
This used to be a building that belonged to the Wisconsin Department of Corrections, and it's just a pile of rubble now. The general sentiment here that we've been seeing from people is a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. This is their city that's being damaged and burnt down, and a lot of people want to try and come together.
The violence stems from the Sunday night shooting of 29-year-old Jacob Blake, who was shot in the back by police as he got into his vehicle. 7 shots were fired, 4 hit him.
We are learning from Jacob Blake's father, Jacob Blake Sr., that his son is paralyzed from the waist down.
Jacob Blake's parents spoke at a news conference today.
They shot my son 7 times. 7 times. Like he didn't matter. But my son matters.
As I pray for my son's healing, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, I also have been praying, even before this, for the healing of our country.
We spoke to former LA Police Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey.
There were several other things that they could have done rather than shoot him. Knock him down to the ground. I would rather him wind up with a busted up knee than be paralyzed from the waist down, having been shot in the back.
Okay, Jan, I'm going to answer the question. I answered it in the chat. Why did he go back to the car? His boys were in the car. His underage minor sons were in the car. He went there to break up a fight. He had just broken up a fight, according to all of the witnesses that were there. They had the same story consistently across the board. Therefore, he was getting back to the vehicle to check on his son and to get his sons, and rightly so. They were minors, left in the vehicle alone for what period of time and what length of time, I don't know. How long it took him to break up the fight, I have no knowledge of that. But according to my understanding, his sons were in the car. That's why he got back, the SUV. That's why he went back to his SUV to get his boys and to check on his sons. That's what he did it for. Okay. Right. There is no excuse for what they did. Now, on No Nonsense News, I understand what his mom is saying. Let's hear what she's saying. But as she comes out and gives a message of peace and unity and attempt to appease and make the people more docile, or to speak an artificial peace into the atmosphere so things don't continue to escalate. People already turned up. It's not happening. There's too much going on. Again, 12 people, 12 days, out of this year, only 12 days out of this year, people have not been murdered by cops or killed by cops. I mean, the other days during this year in 2020, somebody's been killed by cops. It's only 12 days out of this year, people have not been killed by cops. The rest of the days, they've been killed by cops in 2020. So people a little turned up, it's a reason to be, in addition to reparations.
And joining me now is Jacob Blake's mother, Julia Jackson, and Ben Crump, the family's attorney. And Ms. Jackson, thank you so much for taking the time. And Ben, it's always great to speak with you as well. But I want to start with you, Ms. Jackson, and first ask you if you can give us any of the latest updates on Mr. Blake and how he's doing.
He is currently still in surgery.
And I mentioned toward the end here that the Justice Department has said that they're going to get involved in the case. Have you heard from anyone at the Justice Department so far?
We have not. The governor's office reached out, but we haven't heard nothing from the Department of Justice.
So the governor's office has reached out, and what did the governor's office say that they're willing to do for the family?
Well, at this point, they haven't went into details about that aspect, but Ms. Jackson is very grateful to the governor's assistance for cutting through the red tape so she could visit her son in the hospital, because initially her and her pastor were turned away at the door.
Turned away?
Yes.
Can you describe how police treated the family? Because one of the things that's so jarring, Ms. Jackson, when you look at the video, is the fact that you can see that members of the family or that other people were there. There were witnesses all around. You could hear people screaming. You could see them really close to the officer when the shots rang out. What did police say to your family members? What did they say to your children? Did they try to comfort them? Did they say anything to the family at that time?
I wasn't there, obviously, so I can't really say exactly what was said or wasn't said.
But did your family members indicate that that police had any explanation for what was happening, or that have you heard that they said anything to your family members?
No.
No, not at all, Joy. But what we have heard is that the person who videotaped the encounter, the police harassed that individual. And that's a trend, George. You know, in George Floyd, the young lady who was filming, she got targeted as well. So what is wrong with transparency?
Right. And your grandchildren were there, am I correct?
3 of them, yes. 3 of Jacob's sons.
And how are they? How are they doing tonight?
As to be expected. And asking a lot of questions. They mistake their dad. They want to see him. And they tell me, Grandma, the police shot my dad.
Yeah.
And why? And I have no answers.
How did your grandkids, if you know the answer to that, in general, feel about police before this happened? What were their impressions of police?
Well, even with my children, when I was raising my children, I taught them as I was taught as a child, officer friendly. So I do that with my grandchildren as well. I can't really tell you how they feel inside at that age.
They're traumatized.
They are very young. I want it to be known that I have the utmost respect for our police departments, and I don't believe that all police officers are monsters or anything like that. There's few bad apples in every walk of life.
No, I have to stop that right there, because this is no nonsense news. Now in the daytime, you'll catch me doing traditional news catch-up corporate stories and things like that. But when I'm in my no nonsense 6 news section, I have to stop it, because 12 days, only 12 days out of this entire year, people have not died by the hands of cops. The other days, people have been dead and getting killed by cops. Now, maybe she don't have all the statistics. So I'm not going to say there's just a few bad apple in the bunch when some of the good apples in the bunch don't speak up when they see the bad apples doing what they do. Not only do they not speak up, they don't arrest the bad apples. So that makes the bunch bad. We get more bad apples in the bunch. This is no nonsense news. We don't have time for foolishness. Like I said, 12 days, only 12 days in 2020, people have not been killed by cops. Yeah, 12. So I don't have time for nonsense because you can't make sense out of nonsense. That means foolishness. Can't pick that up out of there. It just doesn't happen. Okay, and Jen, you're saying there's more to the story? Jen, you said other than that, the man doesn't get your sympathy. And well, Jen, like I said, he was going to the car to check on his kids, and I understand that. If you have minor kids who are young and you leave them in the car, and your objective is, let me run in and do this real quick, the car parked right there. So, I get some type of view, or I got some type of view watching out for them, and then let me hurry up and get back to the car. He was there to break up a domestic dispute, or to help break up a domestic dispute. And they said he broke it up. He broke up whatever altercation was going on. By the time the police got there, he had already broken it up, had already been resolved. Now, I understand what you're saying, Jen. You want to see more video footage because the police have to be hiding something else. There's something more to the story. That's what you're saying. And I believe it is something more too. Unfortunately, according to my knowledge, I've been told that the Kenosha Police Department didn't have on body cams. We will see. We'll see. We'll see. Because that's nonsense. And we can't get sense out of nonsense. We can't get sense out of foolishness. So we'll see. Now, I had to stop his mom right there. My condolences and sympathies go out to her, but as well as her, I am praying for her son because he is paralyzed. Okay. We're still waiting for justice for Breonna Taylor. Police murdered her. Ahmaud Arbery, even though the police didn't murder him, but some ex-detectives or whoever they deemed themselves to be. We're still waiting for Sean Reed. This list can go on and on and on. George Floyd, we're still waiting for arrests to be made and the trials to take place. And many of those cases, we're still waiting for charges to be brought. Now, this is where it gets really good. You can't pick sense out of nonsense. And people say they want to know, more what happened in him. I've heard a lot of people saying, well, he deserved it. He had a knife. I didn't see a knife in his hand. Did anybody see a knife in his hand? I didn't. So I'm wondering, from the video footage that's out, that doesn't include anything from police, how did they see a knife in Jacob Blake's hand? Because I didn't see it. That's nonsense. See, people get out here, they start lying and start villainizing the person who was shot by the hands of cops. Well, they need to villainize the rest of the over 200 plus days, because minus 12, because it's only 12 days this year that the police didn't kill anyone. Only 12 so far. But you can't make sense out of nonsense. Let's go. Let's get to the next section of the video.
This is Jared Stephen Leone. He's 18. He's in City Hall in Beaverton, Oregon. And according to him, he's high on mushrooms. So he starts a fight with some cops. They all wrestle, and then Jared grabs a cop's gun and shoots it. More cops jump in. It ends up taking 7 cops 2 full minutes to restrain Jared, and he makes it out alive. This is white privilege. If that idea bothers you, then let's just call it benefit of the doubt. Those cops give Jared the benefit of the doubt that his life matters, that his life is worth saving, even when he takes one of their guns and shoots it. Now, of course, when you're black, we rarely get that benefit of the doubt. Cops murdered Laquan McDonald in less than 30 seconds. Cops killed Tamir Rice in less than 2 seconds. But Jared, he got probation and a fine and just a bump on the forehead. On this episode, we're talking about the difference between 2 minutes and a few seconds.
Come here. Leave her alone! You cannot let her be on the red. Come on now. Come on now. Come on.
Get on the ground right now. Taser.
No warrant. Let's roll. Again.
So he starts a fight with some cops. They all wrestle.
No nonsense. No nonsense news. What was that? What was that? See, so I don't want to hear people saying, oh, they should have just complied. Oh, is it going to get better? This is no nonsense news. Now, I don't want to hear people saying, oh, Black people should have just complied. Really? Complied or non-compliant, it seems as though they end up shot or dead at the hands of police officers. By the way, for people who like to deflect, because this is no nonsense news section, and say, if Black lives matter, Black people need to stop killing each other. Don't deflect off the fact that police murder people innocently, innocent people. Let's not deflect. Just because somebody's not complying with you and you're an officer does not give you a license to kill them. There's no imminent threat or danger for your life. So let's throw that out the window. Furthermore, on this no nonsense news section, you have Caucasian who kill Caucasian people. You have Hispanic who kill Hispanic. You have Asian who kill Asian. You have every ethnic group who murders every ethnic group over here in the United States of America. Oh, but wait a minute, hold on, let's pause a minute, because you have police who murder police. Now, somebody answer the question for me. Does blue lives really matter? Because we have cops who kill cops. Since they want to ask, does Black lives really matter? Because we have Black people who kill Black people. Well, excuse me, do the blue suits lives really matter? Because we got police who kill police too. This is no nonsense news. You can't get sense out of nonsense. You can't pick sense out of nonsense. You can't get sense out of foolishness. Well. So I need people to answer that question. When a police kill a cop, do the blue lives matter? Since they want to ask the question, is Black on Black genocide where it's police on police? Murders that take place too. So during those moments, do the blue lives still matter? If that's the case they're attempting to make, which is a bogus one, right back at you. Anyway. Oh, you saying where's the anonymous when you need him? Right. But you boy, most police officers do have a air about themselves that they're always right, even when they're wrong, when it's in certain situations. Yes, they do. Yeah, Jen, and you're right. It's a blue wall of silence. Yes, it is. And Letha, if they didn't see him murdering nobody and they didn't have no warrant for his arrest, and he was not a criminal wanted for murder or anything like that, they didn't have any business killing him. Like I said, you can't get sense out of nonsense. Especially when they were screaming and hollering and trying to stop the cops, trying to tell them, the lady said, she said, our kids are in the car. Stop. Our kids are in the car. That's where he going to. Oh, but let's continue on. Just comply. 17 does 1 no worries. I'm gonna get to 29.
Yeah, about that. God dang! Hey! God! What the hell?
Bust no weapons on him. Bust the window. Bust the window. Where's the window punch? Window punch. Window punch. Window punch. Window punch.
Oh, they're not gonna shoot her. Window punch. Window punch.
Cover, cover. I got cover.
She just pumped y'all. Got out the handcuffs and took your vehicle. Window punch, window punch. As soon as you see an African American person, you automatically got to go to shoot them. She took y'all stuff. You got pumped. No nonsense news. Oh, let me continue on. For the people who always want to pontificate and say, just comply. If you comply, you won't get shot. Was she complying? She punked them and took their stuff. She's still living. They didn't even shoot her through the window. Window punch, window punch, window punch. Get up out of here with that foolishness. All right. Like what? That's nonsense. Yeah. Let's go to 2019.
Oh, they're going to carjack this guy. They're going to carjack him. They got a gun. He's got a gun, dude.
A suspect speeds off in a stolen truck at 110 miles an hour. Police are in hot pursuit. The suspect takes the truck off-road. Choppers fly overhead as the truck crashes in the desert. Chase over, right?
Whoa.
Wrong. Watch him scramble through the brush, trying to escape on foot. When he gets to the road where police vehicles are parked, he makes a brazen move.
Actually running towards the officers. I am praying that they did not leave their keys in the vehicle, because this might just be continuing on here. Oh, no. Oh, No.
The suspect is now behind the wheel of a California Highway Patrol cruiser.
And there's another officer that just clueless. He doesn't even know.
The chase continued for 20 minutes and only came to an end when the suspect found himself cornered.
And that's it. That's it right there.
And the suspect is still alive. He stole the police car and got out and ran by foot. Still alive, 2019. Now, from 2020, I've shown Caucasian resisting arrest from police. I've shown the one in Walmart where the man was wrestling with the police in Walmart. Police kept tasing him, didn't shoot him. Because the man didn't want to put on a mask. He didn't shoot the man. He all in Walmart tussling. Because he wanted to wear his mask. He didn't shoot him, tased him, still was wrestling with the police. Took the police taser too. He's still alive. This is no nonsense news, right? Somebody make that make sense. And Jan, you're right. They say, and Bush boy, you're right. They say, stop resisting, stop resisting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. And you don't have to be resisting. But I can show you story after story after story where there has been clear resistance from other nationalities and they don't get shot. They are still living. As a matter of fact, the one I started off with was the gentleman who took the police gun and shot it. And it took 7 cops to take him down. They didn't kill him. He just ended up with a bruise in his life. I can show other instances of police where other nationalities are resisting arrest and they don't end up dead. And then I can show you video footage of African-American people complying that ended up dead. And African-American people that look like it's questionable whether or not they were complying and they still ended up dead. So somebody make it make sense. One group doesn't have to comply at all. They can swing on you, hit you, take your police vehicles, punk you, wrestle you, and they get to live. But the other group, as soon as you see them, and they start walking away from you to get away from you in attempts to de-escalate and get away from you for whatever their reason are, because they end up dead or they end up shot. And so my prayers go out to all of the family involved. Mr. Blake, he's paralyzed per what his attorney said earlier and what his mom said. And they said he shot the spinal cord and he had 1 surgery. He's still alive. He will have to have more surgeries. I'm praying that he makes it and that he'll be able to walk again. I heard what they said and that he will not be paralyzed for the rest of his life. I'm really praying because he has young kids, young sons to take care of. So, like I said, you can't get sense out of nonsense. So when I see comments and people saying, oh, they deserve to die. Oh, they was a thug, they was this, and then they want to sit up and lie about the person's history like they knew them. Ain't never met these people a day in their life and want to sit up and lie and call them criminals and sit up and lie and talk about, well, they did this, they did that, and never met them a day in their life. To those people, you need to stop lying and you need to shut up. Yeah, you need to shut your mouth and stop lying. Because the lies that you tell on other people are going to come back to your own doorstep. If you lie on somebody, guess what? If you a liar, you get to reap lies back on your own head. So it is best to just shut your mouths in certain situations. This is no nonsense news tonight. Simple. And I'll ask the question again. When a blue suit kill a blue suit, do the blue suit lives still matter? And I'm talking about when it's police on police, do they lives still matter? By the way, all these police suicides, I've not forgotten about them. That they call suicides, were they really suicides, or was it police on police? Somebody tell me. Because cameras are supposed to be in police stations, surveillance, and we haven't seen a surveillance that would corroborate with the story that these police officers indeed killed their own selves and took their lives. That's just what we were told in many instances. Also, these nasty pedophilia cops. Could y'all arrest your own, please? When these cops out here raping these kids, do the blue lives still matter, or does the child life matter, or do the child deserve to be raped? Since people want to say, oh, whatever the police does, you deserve that. You can't get nonsense out of, you can't get sense out of nonsense. Somebody make that make sense. What type of thorough investigation are they conducting when hiring these officers? Because you got pedophilia officers sleeping with minors. Oh, let's not forget, I started off on just my regular news or informative channel talking about how they were messing around with the little 10, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. Remember, go back and look at those videos and the video links. So I'm refuting everyone who say Black lives don't matter because Black people kill Black people. Well, police officers kill police officers. So do the police officers' lives still matter? Somebody help me out. Also, for the nasty pedophilia police who out here raping these little kids, sleeping with these minors. Do the blue suit lives still matter? Yeah, where that Blue Lives Matter group at? Because I want you to answer the question. When blue suits raping these kids, do their lives still matter? When blue suits killing other blue suits? When officers murdering other officers, do their lives still matter? Somebody make it make sense. Oh, oops, you can't get nonsense. You can't get sense out of nonsense. Jen, you said it won't change for an eye into an eye for an eye. You said it's thousands of Lonzos. So what I just want to remind everybody to do, and to the family, Mrs. Blake, and all of, listen, telling people to turn down. They're not going to turn down. They're saying turn down for what? Cause and effect. People want to jump to the shooting for today when really it's the escalation of a combination of things that had happened. It's not just her son being shot by cops. It was already the African American people who were murdered, men who were murdered by cops, and females who were murdered by cops or either beat by cops. And it's the fact that we're still waiting for trials. We're still waiting for police officers to be held accountable. We're still waiting for charges. We're still waiting for somebody to go to prison. So when people are upset, it's not just that one incident. It's a lifetime of incidents that occur to a specific ethnic group, to a specific gender. And maybe I should get my shirt on Kids Lives Matter. So I'm gonna need the pedophilias to leave the little kids alone and the minors alone. The po-po, I need y'all to leave them little kids alone. Some of y'all po-po, leave them little kids alone. That's nasty. And you nasty. No sense sleeping with no little. You're right. But most police officers who get fired they'll join another police department. You said Nat Turner rolling in his grave? There's a lot of people rolling in their grave behind this. A lot. So I just wanted to show, show a little something on for the people who've been out there lying, talking about he had a knife. That was in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I'm still waiting for the rest of that video footage. Mr. Blake didn't have a knife in his hands that I could see. Maybe they weren't watching the same video I was watching. Or maybe they have video footage that I know not of. But I doubt that they were there. Yeah. So on No Nonsense News, let's remember this. We can't make sense out of nonsense. Where they do that at? Then we run it around. We're expecting states to do something. Because Barr, he corrupt. He don't believe it's racism in police departments. He don't see it. Only 12 days this year, people have not been killed by cops. The Attorney General of this nation says there is no racism. Police department is doing a fine job. Police department are not doing a fine job, because if they were, it would be more than 12 days of life for others per the police hands. You said, you're right, Jim, when it comes to those kids, from law enforcement to the Catholic Church, to any church, to priests, to whoever, whatever, they need to leave them kids alone. Kids' lives matter. No consequences, right? No accountability. They want to have the seat of authority, but they don't want to be accountable or responsible for their actions. They don't want the repercussions behind what they did. So Michael Cohan was in here. You heard what he said. You get a remnant thinking they're above the law, that they don't have to apply. The law does not apply to them. It's not applicable. It don't apply to me. And Mac, you're talking about news media, CNN, MSNBC. I don't rock with Fox, but I hear what you're saying is the fact that they don't tell the narrative oftentimes like it should be told. They don't. They don't. And many times it's about stories in that ratings. But I'll say it again, we can't get sense out of nonsense. Where do they do that at? How is that possible? And again, for the people who want to keep saying they should have complied, I can show you video footage at the video footage where people did not comply and they are still alive. And no, they just happen not to be rich in melatonin either. Yeah. Yeah. Dylan Roof, the one I will never forget. Burger King, right? You took him to Burger King because you didn't want to violate his constitutional rights after he murdered, and you knew for sure he murdered, massacred those African American people in church. You didn't shoot or blow his car up. I guess those negotiation skills kicked in. Okay. Yeah, right. Yes, national media helps to control the narratives. Yes, they do. And also, you know, they show the news clips, but I'm waiting for more news media to be on the ground and say, excuse me, why did you shoot? Why did you just shoot that man or that woman? What were they being shot for? Okay, you said they were resisting. Let's roll your video footage back in real time right here. Yeah. If you're not hiding anything, okay, why did you shoot them? Did you have a warrant for them? I mean, what's going on? Why are you even here? What happened? What's your purpose and objective being here? Who called you? We need to see the records. What is going on? What are you here for? Need to start pressing them and saying, what department do you work for? You couldn't de-escalate, and how long have you been trained, and how many psychological tests have you been through? What type of training is going on in your departments? People need to be on there on the ground and start questioning and pressing and asking questions. But unfortunately, we have nonsense and foolishness going on over here in the United States of America. The police are at war over here in America with Americans. Remember, war on drugs. Some of them still fighting a war on drugs. War on people, because that's what that was. So they're in a warlike mindset. Some police are in a warlike mindset. But boy, you said, what exactly does Blue Lives Matter mean? The only uniform is blue. If you don't like your uniform color, get another job. Right, Mac, they don't have to cover Pinocchio number 45. They really don't. They really don't. When he's up there lying, they don't have to air those lies like that. They don't. They really don't. And I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't have sat up there for 4 years and aired all the lies he told. I would not have. Absolutely not. And I would have cut, excuse me, he's lying. Now that we've just got finished hearing him lie and would have showed everything that he lied about, let's move on to the rest of the section of the news. Let's move on. See, but again, no nonsense news. when you got 40% of the wealthy people owning just about everything over here, they're going to push their stories. So what became vital with social media platforms, so people can present other narratives to the news, fill in the missing links and the parts. Unfortunately, people have gone to social media and they have misinformation, and some people be on here lying. And it is unfortunate. It really is. But everybody's made valid points, no consequences. And so again, let's continue to, as we're praying for these families, let's continue to raise our voice. Let's continue to be careful. And remember, we are still in the pandemic. Let's not deflect off that. Now, what is it? Because it's no nonsense news. So it's the next day for me. So I had to go to my daughter's school yesterday because technically it's another day for me. Okay. And the reason I went to my daughter's school was to tell them, well, to pick up her school books and to inform them, to tell them she would not be going to school on campus. No nonsense. Went up there straight, no nonsense. And I said, maybe I was looking like I went up there to fight because I had on my hat. I didn't have this hat on. I had on my fuchsia hat. And I did text her principal and I said, well, you guys cut off the deadline for students registering for online class to strictly go to school online. And they really didn't send out any formal mailers saying when the deadline was in the mail. They didn't send anything to my email. They didn't send anything direct mail, but it could be held up somewhere because of Mailgate with DeJoy, which is foolishness. And you can't make sense out of that either. So I get to the school yesterday. The principal is right there and I'm telling him, I said, excuse me, I emailed you. My child will not be attending campus. She will be going online. I said, and should y'all got a problem with that? She'll be at another school. Or the part that I didn't tell him is, I'll smack you with a lawsuit. We can get that going too, because it don't matter to me. But what's not going to happen is, you're not going to play Russian roulette with my child's lungs. I'm not doing that. And no one else will either. Because in this state, there's been at least 12 schools where they tested positive for coronavirus. Now, technically, we can know it's 12 here, but they don't really have to tell us the 12 schools that it is, that they are here in this state. We just know it's 12. So I go up there and I say, you're right. She not, and the principal, he like, okay. Open up the thing, go through and get her online. I said, okay. My child was like, I said, no, you didn't. I got this. I said, no. And when I texted him the other day, I said, when I emailed him, excuse me, I didn't text him. I emailed him the other day. I said, listen, the deadline for my child registering for online classes has been extended by this parent. I just extended it. So when I went up to the school yesterday, because I emailed him the day before yesterday, I said, listen, she won't be here. Not on this campus, she won't. Again, we're still in the pandemic. During the month of September, 102 years ago, to December, that's when the most death happened with Spanish flu. We don't know what's going to happen because we're not all knowing. Now we believe for the best, but in light of all these murders that's taking place, we are still in the pandemic. We're still in a pandemic. This is no nonsense news. We are still in a pandemic. So we need to remain vigilant. We can't lose sight of that. We have to do what we need to do as people. And we have to continue to raise our awareness campaigns, and we have to continue. Those of us who have not been engaged need to get engaged and start pushing your legislators, the one that you vote for, that you send up there to Congress, to pass some different laws or send them home. That's called a recall. Or run against them and take their seat and legislate. Okay, so no nonsense news. We got straight to the point. Now, everybody endorphins is feeling a certain type of way. On no nonsense news tonight. We got to go out on something cold. Y'all ready for it? The backside. You knew I was gonna play it. MJ. So we gotta care about ourselves. Right, Butchie. Come on, let's go. Come on. Really innocent. Government don't want to see. Okay, a scream for pain, a cry out like, oh, this agony they really don't want to see. Like he said, some people really don't want to see. You know, they innocent. People really don't want to see. Some people really be innocent. They really don't want to see. My goodness. So because we know some don't care about us, we have to care for each other and for others. Because people really do be innocent. And some people really don't want to see. And we got to continue to raise our voice. So that's the way I am concluding on No Nonsense News. Right. And there will never be, never ever, another MJ, Michael Jackson, Prince, because Prince was extremely conscious too. Just a bunch of conscious music we had. Music with metaphors and similes and different things like that. Never ever. No person's a clone. Everybody's their own individual. And so we definitely had some people who were trendsetters and didn't mesh with the norm. Now, like I said, but we know we keep going. We always keep the faith. That's why I said we can look up, we can get up, we can get up, we can go up. It's what we came from. Regardless of the situation, just to get up and keep going. But at the same time, sometimes people need to stop, pause, and get healed. Or stop, pause, slow themselves down, and collect themselves. Then get back engaged. That being said, you all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night. Thank you so much, everybody, for streaming. I will get back to my My no nonsense section is a section all on its own. I will start covering other things that are going on in the world, as well as looking at money, as well as bills that are being passed, as well as some laws that have been passed in certain states. I will say this with all sincerity: stay safe, everybody. Stay vigilant. Plenty much love, everyone. Thanks, everybody. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night. And remember to love on your family and your friends. Bye, everybody. And keep it no nonsense. If it don't make sense, it's foolishness.